So here at the Apple campus, where Apple has just announced the new Apple Watch Series 11 alongside the Apple Watch Ultra 3 and the Apple Watch SE 3. I've got a separate video on the Ultra 3 up in the corner there. This video is all about the Series 11 and everything that's new on it. So the very first thing to know about the watch is they've doubled the scratch resistance of the display itself. So now they're basically saying it's twice as strong as the past, primarily from a scratch resistance standpoint as opposed to like a general breakage standpoint, though those two sometimes go hand in hand. Yet despite this, they're saying this is still the thinnest watch to date. Next up on the hardware, they've added 5G. They've added it back to all of their watches, including the SE3, by the way. So the Ultra 3 gets it, the SE3 gets it, as well as the Series 11. Now, what's interesting about this is this actually saves them battery. And in particular, that manifests itself with finally true all-day battery life. Now, if you're in on the joke here, Apple's always called things all-day battery life when the rest of the world would say that's not all day. In the past, the Series 10 and prior, all day meant 18 hours. Now, all day actually means 24 hours, true all day by everyone else's standards. But hey, it's here now, and I certainly appreciate it. And hey, just a quick note, if you are finding this video interesting and useful, just simply watch it all the way through. That's the only thing the YouTube gods care about these days, and we gotta keep them pretty happy. Now, part of the reason why that's interesting is the next feature, which is the sleep score tracking. So sleep score is new across all of the Apple Watches, and it goes all the way back to anything supported by watchOS 26. So sleep tracking on the watch that you see right there has this little like circle, almost kind of like your rings. That has 3 components, but there's really 4 core components to it. First is your sleep duration, so how long you slept. Next is your bedtime consistency, so are you going to bed at the same time each night? Now, it doesn't penalize you for going to bed earlier because they assume they'd be sleep dead or things like that, but it does penalize you if you're just all over the place in general when it comes to your bedtime. Also interesting, it doesn't penalize you if you have jet lag and go to bed earlier because you're transiting time zones. They even account for the time zone transit in all their calculations. Anyways, the third bit in those calculations is total interruption time, so how often are you up in the middle of the night, etc. And the final bit then is all your sleep stage information, so REM sleep, deep sleep, etc. That is all accounted for in that sleep score that you see right there. Now, you'll see it on the watch as well as then synced to the Apple Health app on your phone, where you can look at there as well and plot that over longer time periods, etc. Again, this is offered on not just the Series 11 and the Ultra 3 and the SE3, but anything that supports watchOS 26 going forward. Now, one of the interesting tidbits here is that if you look at the score and how it's calculated down below, it's very clear cut in terms of points and things like that. That's different than a lot of other companies where the sleep score is just kind of a random generation of a secret algorithm. And obviously, there are good reasons why different companies have more complex weighting algorithms than Apple does. Apple's just pretty simple, doesn't account for HRV, for example, or other factors in there. Apple said they want us not only be simple to understand, but simple to kind of look at and go, yeah, I get why my sleep score is that on a given night. In any case, next up, they've added hypertension notifications. Now, hypertension is essentially high blood pressure. In this case, they're adding notifications for signs of hypertension or high blood pressure. So they do not directly give you your blood pressure readings. That said, this will be a certified medical device when they get their certification here this month. It'll be then rolled out across 150 regions out there. And this will fall under basically a 501k as a software, as a medical device, in the same way they have their ECG readings, etc. But again, it's not going to give you your actual blood pressure readings. The way this works, though, is that you need to have basically a 30-day period, and within that 30-day period, you need to have 14 days of data on your wrist. So basically, the watch has to be on your wrist for 14 days. They're only looking at the daytime data and not nighttime data. They don't actually care about the nighttime data here. It's the daytime data, and they're basically looking at the entire day and kind of averaging that out and figuring out where those hypertension moments might exist or signs of hypertension. This is all based on a study they did that basically goes into their FDA package for approval with 2,000 participants. But of course, we'll see all that in the FDA data. But of course, we'll see all that in the public FDA data here very shortly once that's approved. Now, once you get that notification after that 30 days, it'll actually suggest you then get a blood pressure monitor. You can do that for like 30 to 50 bucks usually in most countries, a certified device, and you can take that data and feed it into the Apple Health app. And then with that, it'll combine that data along with Apple's own data and create a PDF report that you can spit out to your doctor, etc. The idea here being you basically have 2 parts to it. You have the part that Apple's doing, and you have the third-party part once they identify a high pressure situation. But it is important to note, though, that there's no requirement for any sort of calibration or anything like that. If you look at what, for example, Whoop is doing with their blood pressure thing the FDA is all upset about, in that case, you do have to have a calibration factor there. The same goes for Samsung and others. That doesn't exist here. So just simply looking at that data and then giving you guidance as to what to do from there. This too will go to other watches as well. Anything that has the S9 SIP component on there, which includes the Series 9, Series 10, Series 11, Ultra 2, and the Ultra 3. It does not go back to the Ultra 1 because it does not have that component. Now, next is something totally different. They've added 2 new watch faces. They've added the Flow watch face, which you see right here, and then the Exactograph watch face as well. Those are specific to the Series 11. Now, last but not least, it comes in 4 colors, and it also then comes with a whole bunch of extra new bands as well. You can see some of those on the screen. I'll be doing a full in-depth review of this, of course, here in the near future, so definitely stay tuned for that once that drops, and definitely go check out that. In any case, definitely go check out my Ultra 3 video up in the corner where I talk about all the new satellite SOS features, and not just SOS, the satellite text messaging features, Find My features, and all the changes there as well. And of course, hit subscribe. That way, when that full in-depth review of the Series 11, as well as the SE3 and the Ultra 3 drop share in the near future, you're right on top of things. With that, thanks for watching and have a good one.